Oh, what's up everybody, it's Jasmine. Today I wanted to talk quickly about something that I think is quite common in relationships, and that's people playing games when they are in relationships. I think this is particularly common with younger women because when we are on social media and we watch TV and movies and things like that, it seems like a lot of the time people are playing games and that's how relationships work. But when you look at, well, if I look at my parents, there wasn't a lot of game playing. So then I wonder, like, where does it come from? And then I can see that, in a lot of television programs and movies, there's this, this whole thing of like people playing games in relationships because they feel insecure and they don't really know what's going on and they assume that the other person is playing games. And I think, and then when you go on the internet and you're looking for advice, you find a lot of people sort of suggesting that their partner might be playing games or that people have ulterior motives. And so I think that when you are getting into a relationship, especially a new one, you can think to yourself that playing games is a really normal part of a relationship and that testing people is a normal part of the relationship and things like that. But it really isn't. And I think that playing games and testing the relationship to see if it's going to work, it can sound like a good idea, but I think that it has a really big negative effect, not just in the fact that you are putting unnecessary strain on the relationship, but also because by acting out those behaviors, like waiting to text your boyfriend back or ignoring their calls and stuff to make them supposedly want you more and things like that, it can then make you think that they are going to do that to you. So if your boyfriend is really busy, or if he has to say no to meeting up one day or anything like that, then you can start to think that he is playing games with you, and that will cause unnecessary stress on yourself, and then it might even cause you to play even more games, which would just be continuing this cycle, right? But I think the majority of the time people aren't playing games in relationships. In a healthy relationship, they aren't playing games because playing games, it's really stressful. It's not normal. It's a lot of mental work, which is very stressful. And by thinking that playing games in a relationship is normal, you are then second guessing everything that your partner does, which just builds up and builds up and builds up until you can't really take it any longer, because who can live like that when you feel like you're constantly being tested and when you feel like you constantly have to test your partner? So what I suggest is that people forget about the whole game playing thing. Don't engage in game playing activity yourself. If you feel like texting the person, text the person. If you don't, if it doesn't even cross your mind to text them, don't overthink it, And hopefully this way, if you don't engage in game playing behavior, you won't think that your partner will. It's kind of like you can't do something that you don't know anything about. So if you just forget about the whole thing on social media and the internet and TV shows that there's this trope of playing games with your partner, then you won't start to second guess everything that your partner is doing, and you'll just take it at face value. And obviously most relationships don't work out. You have a boyfriend and then you realize that the relationship doesn't work for you, and so you exit the relationship, and that's normal. But when you are playing games all the time, you don't know if that person is not interested in you or if they are interested in you but they're just testing you. So you might continue to be in a relationship for longer than you need to be because you think that, oh, it's just a game, he really does like me. But if you're not getting the communication that you feel like you want and you feel like you need in a relationship, then you should talk about it and say like, hey, you haven't been talking to me as much as I would like. Is there anything that we can do about it, or what's going on? And then if there's improvement, then you can say, well, that's good, this relationship was working for me. But if they are somebody that doesn't communicate with you in a way that you would like, then you can either decide that they're not going to change because they've tried to change and it hasn't worked, or that it really isn't that big of a deal for you, that actually, you know, them not talking to you as often as you would like isn't really that big of a deal. It's just something that you had in your mind because you see it on TV and on social media and things. But in reality, you don't need to talk to somebody all the time. Or it is a deal breaker and then you can decide to leave the relationship. But what you shouldn't be doing is seeing that they don't message you as much as you'd like, and so then you start playing games to try and get them to talk to you more, because that's just gonna, like, that's not gonna lead to a result. That's just gonna lead to more question marks, more anxiety, more stress, and it really doesn't seem to be having a happy ending. I mean, I can't think of a happy ending to that. So yeah, that's my opinions on that. It can be really hard to get out of that cycle, I think, of playing games and thinking that that's a normal part of a relationship. But the first step for yourself is to just stop doing it yourself. And if you're still worried and you're still thinking that your partner might be playing games, then you should talk to them about it and just really try and clear the air to make sure that, you know, you two are both being adults in the relationship and you're both being serious and genuine. And these anxieties, they can come and go because you might be naturally a more anxious person, but the only way that that's going to get better is to not play games that are really just part of this anxious cycle. So yeah, that's my advice, everybody. Let me know what you guys think down below. Hopefully I will see you guys all soon. Have a wonderful day. Hey,